Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
What's up guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and in this video we are going to be discussing more about the upcoming Tales of the Empire animated shorts show that will be arriving on Disney Plus May 4th, also known as Star Wars Day. We have some new details and some new anticipations of what we're hoping for and expecting to see here with this upcoming animated show. Of course, we're going to go ahead and hop right on into it. Before we do though, however, grab that subscribe button if you haven't already, as we're discussing and covering all types of Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel. So, if you guys are into any of that, go ahead and grab that subscribe button today. In this video, we are going to be taking a quick read from dorksideoftheforce.com. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there, as well as an overall garnering source. Tales of the Empire, Darth Vader's new appearance and confrontation with this former Jedi, is one of the most intriguing aspects of this entirety of the show. And yes, I had mentioned this previously before on the channel and in and out of some of our other Tales of the Empire videos here on the channel, of course, but not just that, specifically and especially in our initial reaction and also in our breakdown video here on the channel. Having Darth Vader return, for one thing, in a galaxy far, far away, like we haven't seen this character since 2022's Obi-Wan Kenobi, and also in animation for a whole nother thing, we haven't seen him since, well, Star Wars Rebels in animation. So having the return of Darth Vader himself and having playing a significant role of somewhat in this animated show, I think is going to have a lot of fans excited, as if it didn't already. And so, after a season of focusing on the Jedi and Tales of the Jedi show, the series is back, or as kind of a spin-off more or less. This isn't necessarily a season 2 of Tales of the Jedi. Tales of the Jedi is getting a season 2 though, however, that's coming out a little bit later this year in the fall, but Tales of the Empire is its own separate show technically. This 6 animated shorts will focus on the Empire's sides of things, and it's an unexpected departure for the series, but carries forward the first season's more darker tones. We'll admit that we had anticipated and expected season 2 of this anthology show overall, or the spin-off, whatever you kind of want to call it or label it, to continue telling more stories about the Jedi. However, season 2, as I had mentioned, Tales of the Jedi, will be doing that a little bit later this year in the fall. The trailer itself looks like a thrilling ride regardless though, however. Morgan Elsbeth and Barriss Offee are the two focus characters whose lives will haven't been fully explored yet, so that the show will fill in those gaps of their stories, giving them more backstory and also continuing on their stories of what had went on and had continued on with these characters after the events of the Clone Wars, or maybe before the events of the Ahsoka show, or the Mandoverse essentially. Barriss Offee's fate after she was arrested for essentially bombing the Jedi Temple and framing her friend Ahsoka Tano during the events of the Clone Wars animated show for doing so has remained a mystery of what happened to Barriss after those events. She probably technically should have been executed by those events, but many fans had hoped that she would have returned, and so it seems that that is going to be true. Firstly, we think that the decision to focus on Barriss Offee is quite a deliberate choice, as Ahsoka Season 2 has recently also been officially confirmed, announced, and greenlit, and that it's going to start its production and filming a little bit later this year for an anticipated 2025 release. And there's a good chance that someone like Barriss Offee could make a return in the series way down the road as an older, maybe more wiser Force user. By, labeling her as a Jedi or a Sith is hard to determine, but as a Force user essentially, somewhere in the Mandoverse is something I think that a lot of Star Wars fans out there would love to see. As such, it's probably best to give fans an idea of where she's been all along for these many years, what's gone on with her after the last time that we saw her in the Clone Wars, or maybe even some more backstory to her. On the other hand of things though, however, it's also possible that she essentially dies in the Tales of the Empire, and that's it. The book closes and that's the end of her story. But we would like to believe that the focus on her and her character is because that she is returning for much more outside of this short anthology series of Tales of the Empire, and that she'll be back in live action even. Aside from the amazing action in the series, we're extremely invested in the emotional aspect of side of things that come with these characters as well. I think it's honestly the other half of things, and it makes everything all the more important and interesting. A Darth Vader appearance couldn't been kept a secret until the shorts dropped on Disney Plus itself, but the trailer gave it away, by the end of the trailer at least, and we can't wait to see Vader's reaction to Barriss, and, well, vice versa. Just having him around, I think, is all the more. He's aware of the outcome of her actions, and that of what she had did before was the beginning of the end for Ahsoka and the Jedi Order. And really, the beginning of the downfall of Anakin and losing him to the dark side of the Force, arguably, later seen in Revenge of the Sith. Losing Ahsoka was a blow to Anakin, and at this point in this Tales of the Empire anthology series, he probably thinks that she might have been killed during the events of Order 66, holding guilt, but more importantly anger, towards that and blaming himself for it, if for anything. This is why Vader and Barriss Offee's confrontation should be quite a compelling one, to say the least. We also find it a bit strange that Dave Filoni has also decided to focus on the other character of Morgan Elsbeth, when this could have been a great opportunity to maybe focus on the likes of Grand Admiral Thrawn's backstory, of which it seems that it will be sharing most of that, to say the least. Thrawn is the big baddie of the Mandalorian timeline, the Mandoverse, and more or less also recently introduced in Ahsoka being brought back, or just reintroduced into live action and into later down the timeline when in comparison to the Thrawn novels or even the events of Rebels and that animated show. These shorts couldn't have provided some insight into exactly of who Thrawn is, maybe as a short crash course, if you will, exactly of who he is and why he's so important, to say the least. But I think at this point we just about all know who Thrawn is and why he's important. But perhaps the show will also fill us in on why to Thrawn and Morgan Elsbeth's relationship, the way of why and how we see it later down the road in the Mandoverse, a part of Ahsoka. Morgan Elsbeth is a very interesting character, to say the least, and we're glad that Deanna Lee is back to be voicing her in animation as well, reprising the role. The trailer also marks the return of the Grand Inquisitor, General Grievous, and lots of other thrilling lightsaber duels seen throughout the trailer. We know that Dave Filoni tends to focus on his favorite characters and eras, but even his biggest critics have to admit that he knows how to tell a Star Wars story. Tales of the Empire already looks like an outstanding second installment to the very emotional Tales of the Jedi, and as an addition to this anthology series. Overall here, having Vader return and having that confrontation between Barriss Offee is a very big moment, a very big pivotal point that we're going to be seeing unfold throughout this show here. It also has that big potential to hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe set up Barriss Offee to appear later down the timeline, or, you know, have her character come back somewhere, some way, essentially down the timeline. This here all being said though, let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.